Hello ladies and gentlefish, welcome back to the fish room. I'm Aquatics. I recently had a little stint of controversy here on the wonderful internet land. I've recently acquired some Glofish. They were surrendered to me by one of the many clients I have, saying that they couldn't take care of them anymore. They were out of the hobby, they were done with it. And of course, you know, I'm always happy taking other people's fish, giving them a better life. But recently, I've been having mixed opinions on Glofish, right? They are some of the most common beginner fish in the hobby. You know, most little kids going to the pet stores, the chain pet stores, you know, like Death Mart or Death Co. They're like, oh, look at these little beautiful glowing fish. Oh, mommy, daddy, can I please have a glowing fish? Oh, I would love a little glowing fish. And they stick them in like a 5-gallon, a 3-gallon tank. They get like 6 of these things. They put the blue light, the fake gravel, the fake glow plants, and it's, you know, it's honestly, it's a perversion of nature. It's disgusting. It's not what an aquarium should be, in my opinion. So that made me hate them. That made me dislike them. That made me think that they were beneath me as an aquarist. So when I first got these fish, I posted a reel to this platform here, and I asked you guys, I said, should I feed them to the monsters, or should I let them live? You know, contrary to how I believe, you know, I'm a nice guy, I love all fish and everything. You know, I just saw them as food, which is mean of me. I recently, like the Grinch, right, it is almost the holiday season, like the Grinch, my heart grew 3 sizes when I saw your guys' responses.
Small heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Because, I mean, y'all on YouTube, you were kind of crazy. You were like, feed them, feed them, feed them. I was... But those guys on Instagram and TikTok, they helped me change my perspective. They said, give them a good life. Let them live. They didn't ask to be this way. And that's what clicked with me. They didn't ask to be this way. Right? They weren't created for the purpose of little Timmy going to, you know, Death Mart and being like, oh, I want a fish, and then abusing the crap out of them, right? These fish, just like any of the other fish in my fish room, and the other fish in the world, should be treated with kindness and respect. So, we're going to turn this whole situation on its head, and we're turning these Glofish from feeders to fabulous. So let me explain the plan here. So the plan is going to be taking this 20-gallon aquarium here and turning it into a Glofish paradise. I'm going to get some scaping materials, redoing the substrate, redoing the plants, and basically making this a tank worthy, or unworthy, maybe even too good, for these Glofish here. And then the most controversial part is I'm going to actually be going and getting and quarantining even more Glofish to really drive the point home that you can have a beautiful aquarium with whatever fish you choose. Sorry, boys. Looks like you'll be going hungry today. No Glofish for you. The Gar's probably really disappointed. They wanted to see what Glofish tasted like, but nay. Let's get this build going. Alright, so, next step, we're here at my rock pile. And for these Glofish, I think we're pulling out all the stops. I've got a bunch of this dragonstone, which is one of the most expensive and beautiful aquarium hardscapes in the business. So I think for our Glofish, we're going to be using a bunch of this beautiful dragonstone to our advantage here. Oh yeah. So with materials gathered, it is now time to prepare the tank. So I'm going to be catching out all of our little Glofish friends here and transferring them to a temporary holding tank so I can really get down and dirty with it and set this tank up for Glofish success. And to be honest, catching these last few Glofish out was actually a lot harder than I expected, you know, because they're just so dang fast. And of course, I gave them this big 20-gallon. I should have given them a smaller tank. Wait, no, what am I saying? These are Glofish that are to be treated with the most respect and kindness of any fish. 20 gallons is bare minimum. Probably should have even gone bigger. The next step is going to be taking my siphon and draining down this tank now that we got it empty, cleaning out the filter, and making sure everything is perfectly reset so we can start on the scape. Right, so we've got our canvas nice and prepared here. Still a little bit of duckweed, but hey. So we're just going to do a full rescape on this. I actually like the substrate I've got going on because it's going to match the dragonstone. I've cleaned the filters. We've got everything good. I'm going to keep the pothos roots in there too just to help with denitrification, obviously. So I think the next step is going to be adding the hardscape and starting to plant it out. I have the Glofish here in this quarantine tank for now. I didn't feed them off yet. I kind of want to just cover up the sponge filter and kind of go with a bit of a valley scape here. You know, one on this side, one on this side, pointing towards the central plant mass that we're going to have growing out of here. I'm going to have like a lot of val and limnophilia, I feel, doing the background some justice. So let's just mainly try to cover up the sponge filter area here. Aquatic scape tip number 1, always start with the big stones first and then go back and add the little ones later. Just a little aquatics tip here for you. There we go. So I actually have more of this same sand, and we're going to be adding that in this tank just to give a little bit more depth, and I'm going to be trying to build up the substrate towards the back here. And of course I didn't rinse it. I didn't think about rinsing it. I was like, oh, it's clean sand, it's already in there. But no, this stuff was actually super dirty, so we're going to be dealing with that later. So this is basically the final hardscape we've got going on. Now it's going to be time for everyone's favorite, the planting. I've also got a bunch of these baby Wendelop Java ferns, so we're going to add those to this bottom section here. Now we're going to take what we did on that other side and now do to this side. Because this side's a little smaller, we're gonna do a little less, but we're still gonna give it some love. Put some happy little Anubias on this happy little rock. I think just those two should do it. And yeah, all that new substrate I put in here is going to cloud the water slightly. I'm just going to let the water level go up a little bit higher over the sand in the back here, just so we can start planting our background and midground plants. Muddy water. Look at that. The dust is spreading. Oh no! Alright, so we're back, and it's pretty clear now. Look, I don't want it to get crystal clear and spoil the scape here for you guys. So now, we're going to start with planting. We've got our Cryptocornine Wendii red here going in first as our nice mid-ground plant. We're going to kind of put it right here at the base of our stone structure. Now you want to be careful when putting the roots in here as to not disturb too much, because they will float right back out. And look, we got a really big red healthy one here. I like to grab this little rhizome here and put it right down in there. Now that's looking pretty good over there. Now we're going to shoot for this background here. And for the background, I've got this Limnophilia heterophylla. It looks a bit weathered now because it's out of water, but once we put it in water, a little hard to see with the clarity, but it has this really great texture here that'll really help fill in and draw your eye towards the back. Now I'm just going to place these about a ½ inch apart, going along the back here, trying to keep each individual stem separate. And I think because I want it super dense, I'm going to do 2 full rows of this And yeah, that looks horrible. Like I said, the tank's still not clear. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna wait for the tank to clear up, and then we'll continue the final planting. So I saved you guys the trouble of waiting for it to clear up. We waited a day. Everything is now clear. I'm doing one final water change, and I do have one final detail to add in terms of the plants. A final foreground plant, we've got dwarf Sagittaria. A nice little grassy texture, gonna be opposite the side of the valve here. Going to be creating a nice little contrast to the crypts, not the valve. What am I going crazy? But this should create some nice contrast on the other side to give us that sort of vertical, or not vertical, that V-shaped look that we're going for here. Oh, come on. There we go. Up, come on. There we go. And while I'm at it too, we might as well add a few of these stems of blood red rotala, just to give us a little pop of color in the middle here, especially good for the contrast with our glowfish. Alrighty, so this is what we're working with for our final scape here. We've got our nice dragonstone, we've got the limnophilia growing in the back, our dwarf sag, our crypts, we've got the anubias and java fern and java moss going on the hardscape. I think it's honestly looking a lot better than it does. I'll slap up a before picture here of what we were working with, and then here's the after. And now, I think, without further ado, it is time to get our glowfish. All right, time to scoop them out and put them in their new tank. Bruh, this is harder than I thought it would be. It's always harder than I think it's gonna be. Let's go over here. 1, 2, and we got the last one going in. And you can't tell that there's any fish in here. Yeah, so we're gonna have to give them some time for them to come out. But yeah, I mean, the scape is looking a lot better. I've added this white background so you can't see that hole in my wall. It also definitely draws more attention to the scape itself. The plants, you know, they're looking a little worse for wear right now. They're gonna be growing in and getting a lot better as time goes on here. But yeah, I can't even see, there's one. So if you can see, there he is. They're a little stressed because I did just add them right in here. But I keep all the tanks here in the fish room at a similar temperature, so there is no need for temperature acclimation. These guys, like I said, they're just gonna be a little skittish from me catching them out. So we'll catch up with you guys when the fish come out. And for those of you who ask, yes, these fish do in fact glow. We've got the blue LED lights going, and look at these guys fluorescing under the blue. So I don't know if I actually mentioned this, but these fish are genetically modified, meaning that they are not natural. These fish do not live in the wild. Well, they didn't used to. I think there is feral populations now because of, you know, us meddling. But they have actually been genetically modified with DNA from coral and jellyfish. So if you notice a similarity between these guys, stuff like my coral here, well, that would be why. And there you guys have it. We have a wonderful, naturalistic, planted glowfish aquarium. Just to prove that all fish are created equal, right? I was never really going to feed these guys off. Like I said, I want to just prove that you can make a beautiful looking tank with whatever fish you like. You know, hey, more power to you if you like glowfish. You know, I still have yet to be fully convinced that they are as beautiful as some might think, but giving them a chance like this to really shine, I like them just all that much more, you know? That's going to be the video for today. If you guys liked it, don't forget to like the video. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to the Ray Aquatics YouTube channel because we have plenty more aquatic adventures to come. This was a bit of a shorter video today. I wanted to just make this ever since I was inspired by getting these glowfish. But the next thing we have coming down the pipeline is I'm going to be spending a full 24 hours here in the fish room. So if you guys have any challenges that you want me to complete while I'm in here for 24 hours, comment them down below. But other than that, that's all I have for you guys. Ray Aquatics, out.